I once thought nothing could shake me more than the earthquake that cracked our driveway when I was 8. But that was before I came home to find my 200-foot redwood trees toppled like fallen titans, their trunks splintered, limbs scattered, and their presence erased from the property line like they were never there. And standing in the middle of that ruin, iced coffee in hand, was HOA President Valerie. "Oh hey," she called out as if nothing were wrong. "Figured I'd tidy up the curb appeal while you were off playing Mountain Man." I dropped my hiking pack. My knees buckled, but I didn't fall. Not yet. Those trees weren't just landscaping. They were federally protected redwoods, planted by my grandfather as part of a conservation initiative 5 decades ago. They were legacy, habitat, memory. And Valerie had hacked them apart like overgrown hedges. Just a week earlier, life had been calm. My name's Aaron, and people like to joke that I'm an environmentalist with a vengeance. I inherited this land from my grandfather, a conservationist ahead of his time. The house is humble, but the land? Priceless. Acres of protected green nestled between suburbia and wilderness, buffered by towering redwoods, nature's ancient centuries. The HOA had left me alone at first. I kept my yard neat, paid dues, didn't engage. But Valerie saw those trees as an eyesore. Mid-50s, always dressed like she was running a luxury brunch event. She wasn't elected HOA president, she absorbed power, filling every gap like a moldy sponge. Her crusade for curb appeal was legendary. She fined one neighbor for grass that grew an inch too tall, made another repaint their mailbox because it clashed with the community's aesthetic. And my trees? They drove her crazy. The first time she mentioned them, it was with a forced smile. "They really loom, don't they?" I thought she was joking. She wasn't. Then came the letters. Folded in HOA stationery, typed in Times New Roman, cold and formal. Tree line obstructs community visual flow. Northern redwoods violate visibility buffer standards. I responded with the original federal conservation agreement my grandfather filed, complete with satellite images, signatures, and a legal clause that stated clearly, no person or body may alter, trim, or remove the trees without explicit federal permission. Valerie didn't reply. Not directly. But she bided her time. The weekend I went camping in Sequoia, she acted. I returned Sunday evening, tired but content. Dusty boots. Full memory card. My latest solar battery prototype tested and promising. And then I saw the clearing. Where giants had stood for generations, there were only stumps. Sawdust. Orange contractor flags stamped with Valerie's Landscape Services. I walked past her without a word. Into my house. Straight to the file cabinet where I kept every document tied to the land. I called the local police. They shrugged. "Civil matter," they said. "Property dispute. Try mediation." Mediation? These weren't fence posts. These were federally protected redwoods. Valerie had committed a felony, and she was acting like she'd just pulled weeds. Worse, she spun it in the HOA newsletter as a community beautification effort, claiming the trees were dangerous, unstable. I felt the rage boiling. I wasn't going to shout. I wasn't going to post passive-aggressive comments. I was going to bury her in paperwork. I called the Regional Department of the Interior. A tired-sounding woman named Denise answered. I gave her the summary. Unauthorized removal of federally protected trees, suspected illegal timber sale, local HOA involvement. Her tone shifted. She asked for documentation. Within the hour, I emailed drone footage from a neighbor's quadcopter, satellite comparisons, and the conservation deed with every relevant highlight. I didn't hear back right away, but I knew the clock had started. That afternoon, Paul, a neighbor and retired contractor, pulled me aside. He'd seen trucks removing the wood days earlier. Clean loads, precise cuts. It didn't look like cleanup. It looked like a sale. He said I didn't want to get involved, but it didn't feel right. He remembered a man in aviators directing the load crew. Talked to Valerie like they were old friends. I started calling local mills. Most gave me nothing. Then I hit one, a private yard 20 miles out. Owner named Leo. He said he'd received a redwood shipment recently that seemed too fresh. Claimed it came from an urban revitalization project. No paperwork. I drove out. What I saw made me sick. Massive redwood logs stacked like firewood. Clean cuts. Sticky sap still fresh. And on one log, barely visible, the carved initials RH. My grandfather's. His way of marking saplings he planted by hand. I took photos. GPS coordinates. Got a wood chip sample. Back home, I built the case. Valerie hadn't just removed trees. She had stolen them, sold them, and filed a county grant application claiming to be leading an HOA eco-revitalization. She forged documents, used my photos, submitted them without board approval. It was fraud, theft, destruction of federal property. I met with a county official named Oscar. His hands trembled flipping through the evidence. "We'll escalate," he said. "And you should probably talk to the state forestry office. This is big." Valerie went silent. No newsletter updates. No smug drive-bys. She knew. I contacted Meredith, a conservation attorney. She read through the documents, then asked, "You ready to go federal?" "Yes." She smiled. "Good. Because she's about to find out what pruning the wrong tree gets you." We prepared. Filed the paperwork. Sent everything to the State Forestry Service. A federal ranger named Willa Tilly got assigned. She had mirrored shades, a citation pad, and zero tolerance for redwood violations. Then Valerie tried again. A landscaping crew pulled up one morning. Hard hats. Chainsaws. Said they were there to trim per HOA orders. I stepped outside. "Got a permit?" Valerie cleared it. I called Meredith. Then called Tilly. She arrived in under 30 minutes. Walked right up, badge out. "Show me your work orders, permits, ID." They had nothing. She followed them to Valerie's. Valerie tried to charm her. Failed. Tilly served her cease and desist. "Next time, you're looking at jail." But it wasn't over. An anonymous tip hit my inbox later that night. "Valerie's planning something. Keep your cameras rolling." Midnight. A white van. 2 figures. Toolboxes. They crept along the trail near the trees. One started measuring trunks. Another tested a small saw. I hit record. Called Tilly. She arrived stealth mode, caught them red-handed. One was Valerie's casino contractor with a history. Both were cuffed. Valerie didn't even come outside. The Department of the Interior opened a full investigation. Destruction of federally protected trees. Unauthorized lumber sale. Fraud. A DOJ agent called me days later. They were compiling a national case on illegal logging. Wanted to feature my footage. "You may have just taken down the HOA version of a timber mafia boss," he joked. The neighborhood rallied. People shared their own stories. Valerie had fined a neighbor for bird feeders. Made someone remove flowering plants that attracted insects. At the next HOA meeting, the board suspended her. Unanimous vote. A retired firefighter named Ron took over. Come fair? He organized a replanting day. Local nurseries donated saplings. Neighbors brought tools. Even Tilly showed up with boxes. It wasn't the same, but it was a start. Valerie was indicted. Federal charges. Court-ordered restitution. Grant fraud penalties. Community service. She had to give presentations at local schools. In a green vest that read, "Ask me about federal tree law." Her reign was over. Her power revoked. Her house silent. Months passed. The land healed. Wildlife returned. I started working remotely, spending more time among the trees. Watching the saplings stretch toward the sun. I mounted a sign on the property edge. "Curb appeal isn't worth a felony." Doug from the HOA laughed. Tilly nodded in approval. One morning I saw Valerie at the grocery store. She looked at me, didn't speak. Just nodded. I nodded back. The fight was over. The redwoods are growing again. Their roots run deep, just like the legacy they protect.